Alcatraz. The name itself sent shivers down the spines of even the most hardened criminals. An island fortress in the middle of frigid San Francisco Bay. Alcatraz was the ultimate symbol of American justice, a place where hope went to die. From 1934 to 1963, it housed some of the most notorious criminals in American history. Men like Al Capone, George Machine Gun Kelly, and Robert Stroud, the Birdman of Alcatraz. They all found themselves within its cold, unforgiving walls. Alcatraz was designed to be inescapable. Surrounded by swirling currents and icy waters, the island seemed miles away from civilization. Yet, it was just a little over a mile from the bright lights and bustling streets of San Francisco. The sight of the city, so close yet so far away, served as a constant reminder of the freedom that was denied to the inmates. The psychological impact of this was immense. The prison itself was a monument to security. Thick concrete walls, barred cells, and watchful guards were everywhere. Every aspect of the prison's design, from its strategically placed guard towers to its innovative security measures, spoke to its single-minded purpose: to prevent escape. The message was clear: once you entered Alcatraz, you were not meant to leave, not alive anyway. The isolation of Alcatraz was as much a part of the punishment as the physical confinement. Inmates were cut off from the outside world, their contact with loved ones severely restricted. The silence, broken only by the clanging of bars and the cries of gulls, was deafening. It was a place of immense psychological pressure, designed to break even the strongest of wills. The physical challenges of escaping Alcatraz were daunting. The island's location in the middle of the treacherous waters of San Francisco Bay was the first line of defense. The currents were notoriously strong and unpredictable, the water frigid and deadly. Even strong swimmers would struggle to survive for long in those conditions. The prison itself was a fortress. Its walls were made of thick, reinforced concrete, and the bars on the cells were virtually unbreakable. Armed guards patrolled the corridors and manned the many guard towers, their eyes constantly scanning for any sign of trouble. The guards knew the prison inside out, every nook and cranny, every potential weak spot. The daily routine at Alcatraz was designed to be monotonous and soul-crushing. Inmates followed a strict schedule, their movements carefully controlled. Work assignments were often tedious and backbreaking, designed to sap their energy and crush their spirits. Free time was a luxury, carefully rationed out and closely monitored. But the most formidable barrier of all was perhaps the psychological one. Alcatraz was designed to break the spirit. The constant surveillance, the lack of privacy, and the relentless isolation all took their toll on the inmates. Hope, the most dangerous of emotions for a prisoner, was a rare and precious commodity on Alcatraz. The psychological impact of confinement on Alcatraz was profound. The isolation from the outside world, the lack of meaningful human contact, and the constant surveillance all created an environment of intense psychological pressure. The prison was designed to break the spirit, to instill a sense of hopelessness in even the most hardened criminal. The silence of Alcatraz was deafening. The only sounds were the clang of metal doors, the echoing footsteps of guards, and the cries of seagulls circling overhead. This constant oppressive silence could drive men mad. It was a silence that screamed, a silence that ate away at the soul, reminding the inmates of their isolation, their loneliness, their utter despair. The lack of privacy was another form of psychological torture. Every aspect of the inmates' lives was monitored, from their movements within the prison to their correspondence with the outside world. This constant scrutiny wore away at their sense of self, their dignity, their very humanity. The psychological toll of life on Alcatraz was evident in the high rates of mental breakdowns among the inmates. Some retreated into themselves, becoming shadows of their former selves. Others lashed out in anger and frustration. The prison, designed to punish, often ended up destroying the minds of the men it held captive. Yet, even in this environment of despair, the human spirit found a way to endure. Some inmates found solace in religion, seeking comfort in prayer and the company of the prison chaplain. Others turned to art or literature, finding ways to express themselves within the confines of their cells. And then, there were those who never gave up hope of escaping, who clung to the belief that they could somehow cheat fate and regain their freedom. The inmates of Alcatraz were a resourceful bunch. Denied access to traditional tools and materials, they learned to improvise, to use whatever they could get their hands on to further their plans. They turned spoons into makeshift digging tools, raincoats into flotation devices, and newspapers into papier-mâché dummies. The prison library became their university, a place where they could educate themselves, expand their minds, and plot their escape. They devoured books on engineering, navigation, and even marine biology, gleaning whatever knowledge they could that might help them in their quest for freedom. The guards, though vigilant, could not be everywhere at once, and so, in the shadows of Alcatraz, a game of cat and mouse played out, a constant battle of wits between the inmates and their captors. Each successful escape attempt, however small or insignificant, was a victory for the inmates, a testament to their resilience and their unwavering determination.